I'm going to talk about the ergonomics and handling of flexible ureteroscope. Basically, as an endourologist, all of us are very well versed and have very good hand-eye coordination. What makes the flexible ureteroscope difficult and RIRS with a learning curve is that in rigid URS, our dominant hand works, and in RIRS, both our dominant as well as non-dominant hand has to have equal work. So in this talk, I'm going to cover the movements of the scope and how to give care to the scope and little setup about the ergonomics of the RIRS. First, it's easier if we classify the movements into four. The first movement is going to be push and pull. So this is going to push the scope inside and remove the scope outside. And this is done with the non-dominant hand. And second thing is the major rotation, where this is going to happen at the level of wrist and elbow. And this will be decided which side we are going to operate. This will basically focus the tip of the scope towards the left side or right side. And the third thing is down and upward deflection. This is going to help in moving between the calyces, and this is done with the dominant thumb. And fourth is minor rotation. This is a minor, finer movement that is done with the non-dominant fingers. We will see one example for each. So first movement is going to be the push and pull. Here in this video, we can clearly see how the non-dominant hand, I am a right-handed person. My right side is fixed, but my left hand is pushing the scope inside. So this is going to be the basic movement which we are going to use in all the scopes to ascend or to descend. So here we can clearly see only my left hand is moving. And next is the major rotation. Again, this can be classified into two, that palm out when we are doing on the right side, and then palm in when we are doing on the left side. These are the pictures that can be seen. And the third movement is the deflection of the scope. Here, there is upward deflection as well as downward deflection. If I push the lever up, the scope looks upward. And if I push this lever down, the scope looks downward. So there are two different types of scopes. What I am showing is one particular type where in the opposite side, this will, when I push down, it can look up. So when we buy the scope, we have to be careful in selecting the scope. Whichever we are trained, it is better that we buy that scope. And fourth is a minor rotation. This is going to happen with the non-dominant fingers. This will happen at the area where the scope enters the access sheath. As you can see, my ring finger and little finger is holding fixing the access sheath, whereas my thumb and index finger are moving. This is going to create the minor rotation. RIRS is all about mixing all these four movements with various combinations. Now we'll have this video where I'll be describing all the four movements. I'm slowly entering the upper calyx. Already the major rotation happened with my dominant hand. The inside and outside movement is happening with the non-dominant fingers. I am just doing the minor rotations to see the various angles of the calyces. And then once the upper calyx is over, I am coming back. My thumb is bending the scope. The downward deflection is happening now. My right thumb is doing that job. At the same time, I am pushing and pulling the scope with my non-dominant hand. So this gives the minor rotation. Now I have come out. Now I am bending and going to the lower calyx. This downward deflection is again happening with my right thumb. So if we sequentially in combination use all the four movements, then it will be very easy to master RIRS and it's easier to overcome the learning curve. Now I am going on to caring about the scope. This is a short video. After the procedure is over, we wash the scope with RO water and then use either betadine scrub or the chlorhexidine scrub. We take it in a piece of gauze and wipe the scope thoroughly. Care should be taken when we come to the frills, which is at the lower end of the scope. That is where the scope bends. So it is better that area is not pulled and instead just tap the scrub in that area. And then once this is done, then we wash the scope again with RO water. Now it is time to clean the channel. So we take either distilled water or RO water and flush the channel with the help of a syringe. This will give a good flush to the inside of the channel. After that, it is mopped and placed in the box that is given, that comes along with the scope. Here we have to take care that next time when we put the scope in Sidex, then we have to flush the channel again so that the inner layer of the scope is sterile. Now coming to the ergonomics, these are some small tips that I wanted to give. First is placement of the monitor. When the patient is in lithotomy position, it is always preferable that we place the monitor on the side of the surgery. And another important point is the surgeon has to keep the shoulder in adduction. At no point to introduce the scope or withdrawing the scope, the right hand or the dominant hand should be used. The scope, the dominant hand is fixed. Only the wrist and the elbow will move. And the table height has to be positioned comfortably so that the surgeon's back is safe. We don't have to bend or strain our back. And the surgeon's position, surgeon will have a slight tilt and face towards the monitor. This will help to reduce the strain at the neck. There are two more things I wanted to convey. It is always safer that we have separate trolleys for taking care of the flexi-scope. I have seen in many places they combine the semi-rigid instruments along with the flexi-scope. So here we have designed a special trolley with specific dimensions for comfortable use and safe placement of the scope. And this is another tray, which is a Sidex tray to keep the sterilized scope. Thank you.